Um, Welcome to TechVev Backend Engineering with Node.js. So we are starting from where we stopped in the last class. So we already built our routes and then separated the controllers so that we have our controller inside our controller. Then our model is here, and the endpoints are also working. So the endpoints are also working. Something like lang go lang, uh, 15 minutes. So if I run this, so it's working. Then if I get everything, so basically they are all working now. So another thing, so what I'll be treating in this class is input validation. So let's say for this create tags now, a user might mistakenly pass in something that is not a string, something like 56. It is actually in the backend, it will be converted to a string because title is of type what? Title is of type string, but logically it's not correct because what we're expecting is a string. So we want to give it, we want to give a restriction that okay, this should be of type what? String, and what we should be expecting from the user is what? String. So how do I do that? So there is a package called so we need to install something else. We need to install joy. So we need to install joy. So we use it to validate our user input. So it's a data validator. So how do we install it? We install it using npm install joy. So you install it, npm install joy. So it's still installing. So now we are done installing. Uh, so the next thing is we will start to set it up. So you can have a folder. Let's call the folder what? Validator. You can have something called like tags validator.js. So now we just want to what is it called? Validate our data. So how do I do this? So I need to import my joy from what? From joy. And I need to define how the user input should come. So I can say something like const schema, then joy dot what? Schema, I think. Sorry, joy dot object. So so we are going to be expecting an object. Then what are those things we expect? We expect a title. Then that title should be what? That title should be a string, and it should also be what? It should we could say that the string should not the string should not be less than 3 or 4. It should not be less than 3 or 4, like 4 letters. Then we want to make sure it is required. That is, the user must always include it. Then we have our duration. Then we can say joy dot this duration will be a number. It must be a number. Then I can also say it's required. So you can see that. So I can now use it in our what's it called? I can use it in our body, like in our controller. See it here. So in this crate now, so instead of me passing our body directly, I can just do something like you fetch the body, or you could say something like error, then your value. So we could validate the request body on the fly. So instead of passing it to a new variable, I could just say something like schema. Okay, it's as if I'm not export default. Export default. Sorry. Let me call this create task schema. So I want to export them one by one. So now I can say create task schema dot what? I want to validate that request dot body. So I want to validate it. So now I have access to what? So in your JavaScript, you see that we are destructuring it. So what after the validation is going to return an error and a null and a value. So if there is no error, if there is an error, is going to we are going to have access to it inside this error. If there is no error, the error is going to be null. So we can also check, we can say if error. So if error, I can just say res dot status 400, which means bad request. Then I could say something like I could say invalid, or or I could say something like bad request. Let me just say bad request body. So let's just say something like that. So, but if it is correct, I can just pass it into here, into this. So can you see that? So if it is correct, I'll pass it into create. So are you following? So now the next thing is so let's try it out. So for this create now, I want to pass 56. So if I run it, so can you see that we are getting an error? So we are not expecting 56. What we're expecting is a text. So I can say drink water. So I want to drink water for 5 minutes. Let's just say 5 minutes. So if I run it, so can you see that it's correct? If I pass something like false, can you see bad request? So we have successfully validate our inputs now. So that's basically it for validation. So you can also apply it on what? You can apply it on let's go down. So this is for create, this is for get tags. So this is for, so let's apply it on update body. Remember, in body you are going to be passing in some the things you want to change. So I could say something like value, sorry, error, then value. Then I need to define my update, uh const update tag schema joy object. Then this title, we could say it should be a string, but it should be optional. Like I might pass it, I might not pass it. So for this duration, it should be a number, but it should also be optional. That is, I might pass it or I might not pass it. So we could use update tags schema dot what validates. So I want to validate the body. Then if there is an error, we want to throw we don't want to throw this error. So I want to validate it outside, because if I throw an error here now, mm, res dot, okay, yeah, I need to return. So I'll make sure I'm always returning. So I don't want to throw an error. I just want to pass that message 400, then JSON, and I'll say what bad request body. Can you see that? So I want to return. So if it is properly validated, I'll just pass the value here. But if it is not, we'll just use this. So let's go and test it out. So if I get all my tags, if I run this, so I have all my what? I have all my tags here. So I want to change. I want to change. So can you see that that time that I did not apply return? Can you see that it actually went ahead and create all this? So now let's try to create again. So when I add this, what's it called? This return now. So if I try to create again, wait, let me show you. So how many data is here? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 data here. So if I try to create again, so let me create something new. So you see that it will not. So I want to say something like learning to swim. Okay, this one is correct. I want to pass in 100, yeah, 100. So we have a bad request. Now if we check, can you see that 100 is not showing? Now what happened why this false is showing is because truly it caught it that there is an error, but we are not returning. So we are basically supposed to return this response, which is returned. But now we also need to add this return keyword so that we can escape from this controller. But now if you don't add that return keyword, it will move to this block of code and execute everything that needs to be executed. But knowing fully well that there is an error, we don't want to proceed to this line of code. So that's why I'm using return, so that all this line of code, in case there is an error, all this line of code should be ignored. So that's basically what's happening. So and our code is running perfectly now. So always make sure you are returning. So now we need to delete. So I want to delete this one now. So I can come here. Uh, so if I apply send here, so it's deleted. So that's that for validation. Thank you very much. See you in the next class.